Welcome back to Silent Screams, Loud Strength, the podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Avril-Andreassen. Today's episode is deeply impactful, breaking the cycle, healing from generational trauma. Many of us carry wounds passed down from our parents, our grandparents, without even realizing it. But this cycle stops with us. So let's explore how trauma is inherited and how we can begin to heal the process. So healing from generational trauma. Just because trauma runs in your family, it doesn't mean it has to continue with you. So many of us carry emotional wounds that didn't start with us. Without even realizing it, we inherit patterns, beliefs, and coping mechanisms from our parents, grandparents, and even generations before them. These inherited struggles, known as generational or intergenerational trauma, can shape the way we experience relationships, self-worth, emotional regulation, and even our sense of safety in this world. But here is the empowering truth. The cycle stops with us. Healing generational trauma is possible, and it begins with awareness, intention, and the courage to rewire our story. So what is generational trauma? Generational trauma is the emotional pain, behavioral pattern, unhealed wounds passed down through families. Unlike personal trauma, which comes from an individual direct experience, generational trauma is inherited. It lives in the family dynamic, cultural beliefs, and even in our bodies. Examples of generational trauma is growing up in a family where emotions were suppressed. We didn't talk about the feelings. Experiencing or witnessing cycles of abuse, neglect, and addiction. Struggling with deep-rooted fears or limiting beliefs. Will never be good enough. Carrying financial stress, scarcity mindset or fear of success. Feeling responsible for family dysfunction. It's my job to keep the peace, we say. The patterns of trauma are not always obvious, but they often manifest as emotional baggage, unhealthy relationship dynamics, or some subconscious fears that we pass down to our children if left unaddressed. So how is trauma passed down? Trauma is transmitted in multiple ways, not just through genetics, but also behavioral conditioning, cultural expectation, biological changes caused by trauma. So biological transmission is trauma can alter the way stress hormones function in the body. Studies have shown that descendants of survivors of extreme trauma, like war, slavery, genocide, may have higher anxiety levels and heightened stress responses. Emotional and behavioral patterns children learn through observation. So if our parents have exposed emotions, struggles with toxic relationships, or coped through avoidance, we may subconsciously adopt these same patterns. Cultural and societal conditioning. Many communities pass down collective traumas, teaching resilience in a way that it may also reinforce silence, guilt, or suppress us they tell us, be strong, don't cry, don't explain. So how do you recognize the signs of generational trauma? Could you be carrying trauma that isn't yours? Well, here are some common signs. You feel responsible for your family's emotions or struggles. You struggle with setting boundaries because you were raised to prioritize others before yourself. You experience deep-seated fears or anxieties that seem unrelated to your personal life. You notice repeated toxic cycles in relationships, parenting, or finances. You avoid conflict, you suppress emotions, or struggle with self-expression. You carry a deep sense of guilt or unworthiness that isn't based on your experience. Recognizing these patterns is a first step to healing. So how do you heal and break the cycle? Healing generational trauma is not about blaming our families. It's about understanding, unlearning, and creating new, healthier patterns for ourselves and our future generation. So here are some powerful ways to begin the healing process. Acknowledge the trauma. The first step is breaking the cycle, is awareness. Take time to reflect on the beliefs, the fears, and the behaviors that don't serve you. Ask yourself, what family patterns do I see repeating in my life? What emotions or struggles have I carried that may not even be mine? How did my parents or my caregivers handle stress, emotion, and relationships? Allow yourself to feel and grieve, because it's okay to grieve the childhood, the family dynamic, or emotional safety you never had. The unprocessed grief can keep us stuck in a survival mode. Therefore, journaling, therapy, or somatic practices like breathing work and movement can help release stored pain. We challenge and rewire our generational beliefs. Not all family lessons are meant to be passed down. So ask yourself, did my family teach me that emotions were weak? Was I raised to believe I had to suffer to deserve happiness? Am I repeating unhealthy patterns because I feel normal or they feel normal to me? So now we rewire and rewire our family narratives. So we say, is it safe for me to express my emotions? Am I allowed to set boundaries, even with families? I choose to break the cycle and create a new legacy. So setting boundaries and redefining relationships. Not everyone in our family will understand your healing journey. So some may resist change because it challenges their own comfort zone, but that's okay. Communicate your needs clearly. I am choosing to approach things differently. Limit contact if necessary. Healing doesn't require suffering. Give yourself permission to create your chosen family, a safe, supportive community outside your blood relatives. Find healthy outlets for healing. Therapy or support groups, Healing trauma is easier with guidance. Journaling and self-reflection. Write letters to your younger self and your ancestors. Practice mindfulness, somatic healing. Trauma lives in the body. So breakthrough movement and meditation help release it. Break the silence. Have conversations with family members who are open to healing. Be the change for the future generation in your family. The most powerful way to break a cycle is to model healing, emotional intelligence, and healthy love for the future generation. If you're a parent, show your children that expressing emotions is okay. If you're breaking patterns, celebrate yourself. You are doing the work that past generations didn't have and didn't get a chance to do. Affirmations for breaking generational trauma. For example, I honor my ancestors by healing what they couldn't. I'm allowed to create a new pattern for myself and my family. I'm allowed to create new patterns for myself and my family. I release the pain that does not belong to me. I am rewiring my story with love, awareness, and strength. So be glad that you are breaking these chains that have kept you in the loop of generational trauma. So if you're doing this work, you are not healing yourself. You are healing the generations before you and after you. The cycle stops with you. Have you recognized generational trauma in your family? What's one thing that you are unlearning? If you are unlearning something, drop a comment and let me know. So, in this episode, I have gone through what is generational trauma, recognizing the signs of trauma, and how to break the cycle. Healing generational trauma is a courageous act. It allows us to create a better future for ourselves and our families. If this episode helped you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can grab a copy of my book, Healing from Within, on Amazon for deeper insights. Thank you for listening. See you next time.